Hello everyone, myself Naveen Kumar. Today we will discuss about the topic of research process. Before starting the research process, we discuss the research. What is research? Research is defined as a creation of new knowledge and use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way to generate new concept, methodology and understanding. In the simple words, we can say that the research means find a solution of problem. If unsolved problem arises in your mind, we try to find the solution of the problem. That is research. In the next research process, what is research process? The research process involves identifying, locating, assessing, analyze the information. You need to spot your research question and developing the expression your idea. In the research process, we discuss key aspect of the research, how do research, what is research, what step to follow the research. Today we will discuss flow chart of the research process. Any research process having going to 10 steps. We are going to look 10 steps one by one. There are 10 steps of the research process. First is management dilemma, second defining the research problem, third is formulating the research hypothesis, fourth is developing the research proposal, fifth is preparing the research design, sixth is determining the sampling design, seventh is data collection, eighth is data refining and preparation, ninth is data analysis and interpretations, and last is research reporting. And the first is the management dilemma. In the management dilemma, the research is two types. First is applied research and second is basic research. The applied research, that research that is seek to answer a question in the real world and to solve a problem. And the second is basic research. Basic research is research that fill in the knowledge we do not, that try to learn things that are not always directly applicable. In the next step is defining the research problem. What is research problem? The research problem is two types, related to the step of nature and second related to the relationship between variables. The research problem is thing would you like to research on, what is question there in your mind. For before you carry out the research, this is particular area should be your interest, you should be passionate about it. Only process is faithfully will be able to 100% of carry out the research. You have to need research problem with you. You know the what is topic of research. How to formulate research problem. The research is read various literature to formulate the research problem. I need to read about the research topic before I can start my research. We studying on the topic. The research must all available literature to become aware to the problem and main study of the literature. And the next step is formulating the research hypothesis. In this, what is hypothesis? Hypothesis is a assumption and tentative answer of the topic. If the research is a particular topic, our mind a result is related to the topic. Before starting the research, we assume a pre-result of the research. That result can be true and false of the research. The research making of hypothesis and creating of hypothesis, it should be very specific and limited to the price of the research. The role of hypothesis to guide the researcher and delimiting the area of research and keeping him on the right track. It also indicates the type of data required and also type of method data analysis to be used. And the next step is developing the research proposal. In the proposal is flexibly contract about the proposed methodology, and once it is formalized and accepted, the research of ready for the intention. It needs to spell out the research problem, the scope of the object of the study and operational plan and achieving the same time. In the research proposal is type of the contract in which information and type of methodology are mentioned. The proposal is accepted of research is carried out. The research otherwise he prepare another research proposal. Preparing the research design. In the research design, the research is specific method to process of acquiring the information. It provides the necessary formulate, a blueprint of the research process. And data collection. Research design means it has to build conceptual model which research to be conducted. There are various objects of the research design. First is exploration, second is descriptive, third is experiments. The research design obtained the information and organization to data collected skill required time and cost factor. And the next step is determining the sample design. The researcher must decide the way of selecting the sample or what is poultry now as the sample of design. In other words, a sample design is defined, planned, determined the before, and data are actually collected for obtaining a sample for giving population. In the sampling design, in this all the under consideration in any field of inquiry, constable universe of the population. A complete enumerator of all the item his population is now a sense inquiry. Sampling is depend on the selecting of the some part and aggregate or totally on the basic which is conclusion or drawn by the universe. There are sampling method, probability sampling method, non-probability sampling method. Probability sampling method is sampling, random sampling, cluster sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling. And non-probability sampling method is convenience sampling, judgment sampling, quota sampling, snowball sampling. And the next step, seventh step is data collection. There are several ways of collecting the appropriate data. Selecting the data collection technique about the specific technique to be collect data. Data can be collected through primary and secondary data. There are two types of data, primary and secondary data. Primary data can be collected either through the experiment and survey. Secondary data, the other hand data, those has been collected by someone to other purpose. The research would has to be decide which source data would be using for the research. There are various methods of collecting the data by observation, through personal interview, through telephone interview, by mailing and questionnaire, through stool. The various methods to collecting the data. And the next step is refining the preparation of data. In this process, data is refining and proceeds in the format of required for the evaluating the information in order to answer the research question and test the formulate hypothesis. This stage is required editing of the data and omission and the irregularities. Then it is coded and the tabulated manner in which it can be subject and statistical testing. In the data refining, in the data is editing and arranged according to the requirement of the research, and it is coding and tabulated form. So the data is can be use of statistical technique. And the next step is interpretation and data analysis. After collecting the data and systematic organize to analyze the data. When you analyze the data, you are basic of analyze, drawn conclusion. This is evaluated test hypothesis. Data should be classified raw data into some purgeable and used to category coding operation in done making categories, hypothesis test and conclusion drawn by editing, improved tabulation of data and statistical technique. The technique choose must be carefully decided upon the justified as a wrong test of creation. Selecting can be hazardous effect on the study of the result. Then the research link result will be research object stating clearly and implementation of the finding and doing all this in object and rational approach. It can be said the interpretation of the data. When the data is analyzed, finally the report is preparation and report writing, the last step of the research process. Finally, what is your conclusion of your research? The report divided into 3 steps. Preliminary pages, second is main text, third is end matters. In the preliminary pages, it includes title, date, table of content, etc. And the second is main test. It includes introduction, summary of research, main report, and conclusion. And the third is the end matters. The end matter, it consists biography and appendix, etc. In the report writing, the report should be written in a concise and object style in the sample language, avoiding the vague expressions such as it seems, there may be, and the like. And third step is chart and illustration in the main report should be used only if they present the information more clearly and forcibly. And the fourth step is concluded confidence limited must be mentioned, and the various concentration expenditure in the conducting research operation may be well be to study in the various process step to follow the complete his research to finding a research problem solution, so that there are 10 steps is follow the research problem to get interpret and to get a exact result of the research, that is research process. And thank you.